everyone. We're live at Epic headquarters. I'm here with Steve, Jim, and Sid today. We got some cool stuff to show you guys. We wanted to make sure that you guys entered the contest if you haven't yet. We've been going kind of crazy getting ready for this exhibition.
Yep.
Yeah. You can see it in our faces. I'm sure.
I think we're all a little shell-shocked right now.
Yeah, it's been crazy. We weren't even sure we were going to be able to pull this show off today, so we're kind of going to just do our best here. And my computer crashed while I was writing the questions, but we'll get through it. And also make sure you join us again this Friday for our play test. We've been having a great time. Really looking forward to playing with you guys again. I actually missed last Friday. But everybody else was there.
I died enough for both of us. How's that?
Good. Good. So I will be there this Friday. Really looking forward to playing with you guys again, getting in some jib.
And also just to make sure everybody understands, what we're working on is not just for the exhibition. I mean, we're going to be putting out a build that has everything that we'll be showing in the exhibition. We'll be showing a little bit of stuff today that is going to be going into that build that we're still polishing and working on, but
yeah, these
really
guys have
cool.
been working like crazy. Things are looking fantastic though. We did a play test the other day, and when the game started up, I just couldn't even believe the beauties that I saw. It's just starting to really come together, and just really excited. And one of the things that might be in the build, are we gonna have this in the build?
This will not be. So let's see. To clarify, so there will be a build. So the event is September 18th through 20th.
Right.
So we will have a build out shortly before the event that has everything that we're going to be showing off at the event, all the levels that people are playing, including the level we're going to be talking about today. In between then, we are hoping to put out an intermediate build that'll have some important bug fixes and some of the a lot of the new under the covers improvements that we've been working on. And there's a couple of significant crashes on that are kind of plaguing our server instances right now. So we're hoping to get that built out relatively soon. That will not include any significant new content, except for probably updates to things that we've been working on that you guys have already been seeing, like the rocket launcher and the sniper rifle and everything. But what we're showing today won't be ready until the build that's close to the CTF event. And our artists and designers are working very hard to make that come true. So they will definitely not be ready earlier, and we're still. I think that's a good segue to very tired looking Sid.
Yeah. So one of the things about working in game development is you work a lot of hours, and it's not all fun and games. It's a good way to put it. But Sidney has been working on this with the art team.
So actually.
And Jayoplus.
So yeah, one of the big things for our community event build is we've been working with Jayoplus to include CTF-Pistola.
Woohoo!
And give it the DM treatment basically. So we're super excited about that. I've been working with Jayo for the past couple of weeks, just bouncing feedback back and forth. We've been playtesting internally here as well, giving him some feedback. And at this point, we actually got the map in the house. We're still taking some feedback from the guys playing in the public as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing some final tweaks in here and just, fixing some small little things here and there. But this 99% Jayo's vision and, imagination of the map, which turned out super awesome. So we're really excited about
he really did a fantastic job.
A few things that are in flux, like I know we've talked to him about changing some of the weapon placements and stuff. So obviously some people are up in arms about oh, you changed something that was different before.
I think that's how it was before.
Really, you get the approval of the original author before.
Yeah, we really should talk to that guy.
But to be fair, I kind of understand that once you put something out there and it's been out there for a long time, it takes its own life or life on its own rather. Yeah. And
well, it was cool playing it the first time we even had our hands on it. Getting in there, knowing where all the weapons are, getting up on that bridge, and being able to kill people trying to get through the window and stuff like that. It's just so cool, and it's such an awesome map. So I'm really excited to have it again.
But yes, let's look at it.
Let's look at it. Ooh, look at the pretty.
All right. So actually, in this version, Rick took a stab at playing with the lighting in here too a little bit. Staying true with Jayo's original vision of all this stuff, but sprucing up just a little bit, and it's kind of a back and forth, a collaboration. He's done a really awesome job of making this map, look nice and clean from a gameplay standpoint, repurposing the Leandria assets to make him look a little bit more industrial, and that's some of the stuff we looked at before, but it's just really coming together now, and
oh, so shiny.
Playtesting this map actually, you don't feel like there's anything getting in your way playing it. It just kind of feels natural. You don't get, there's no frustration or anything. It's just kind of, it works, and it hits a good sweet spot of detail and gameplay, I think. So we've been really excited and had fun playing this.
And Matt kicks us everybody's ass on this one.
Actually, that's not really true, to be honest. Remember one particular playtest where that was quite the opposite, actually, and he wasn't quite that happy about it.
Darn.
Well, we've had some really good close matches here.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing where, like, there's a playtest and those guys are winning or doing well, and it's like, oh yeah, nothing's wrong with this map. If they're on the losing end, it's like, oh, this over here is
I think it's a very interesting map in that it's very easy to pick up. It's very well balanced, but even just slight changes in weapon placement lead to stalemates. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that we're still kind of tweaking things.
Yeah, well, I think from the beginning, and I think it's part of, this map has always been relatively defensive, but it's one of the things, with every UT, there's some differences in balance. We, made tweaks to movement and weapons, and there's new stuff. So you can't just leave the map exactly like it was, because it won't play well. But we're seeing, our matches basically our daily playtests are kind of pick-up games with the people that know a little bit about how to play together, but we're certainly not playing like a serious clan would play together. So when we generally have relatively high-scoring games because of that, and so when we start seeing really low-scoring matches in our playtests, where we were at basically 1-1 or 0-0 to overtime. Yeah. Then that was where we decided to make a couple of tweaks just to try to address that. That it's just there's just some things about the map that make it really really strong defensively, and but it's also it's a fun map. It's easy to find your way around. It's
and those are those scenarios where, like you said, a well-coordinated team will overcome the two guys hanging out in the flag room with a shock rifle, because they'll just clean up and haul ass back out of there. But for us, that's a bigger issue sometimes. Yeah.
I think there might be an Easter egg in here somewhere too, if I remember correctly. I'll leave it at that, though.
It's a Sidney map. There's always an Easter egg.
That's not that's utterly unrelated, though, from what I've seen, though. I haven't actually looked and found it, to be honest. I saw Jayo talking about it, but I haven't actually seen it yet. So we'll have to make sure that it's appropriate before the event.
Why?
Well,
yes, when it happens during the live stream, that's really cool. During the competition, which again is worth clarifying that when we do our CTF exhibition match, this will be one of the maps that the guys play.
Yep.
And we're also going to be releasing a screenshot from this map later today.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. So look for that this afternoon. I know this map is a favorite for a lot of the CTF competitive crew. I remember when they would do their matches, their training matches, and they're getting ready for playing, that they would always break this one out, and I was like, oh gosh, this one again? Just over and over and over. But I did like this. I do know this map backwards.
Very well balanced map.
Yep, and I know it backwards, which makes me happy. So it's the scale's a little bit different than I remembered, but I can still get through here backwards, which I like.
Well, yeah. We are super excited.
Yep.
Awesome
job,
Jayo.
Very excited. So we're gonna take a few questions. There were some other things we planned doing, but things just didn't work out this week. But next week's going to be really fun and exciting. So let's get to some of these questions that nobody knows, because I didn't send them out today. Will the UT dev stream in the future also be streamed on YouTube, the YouTube gaming platform? I'm going to look over at Shelly for that one. Eventually, Shelly says. So
we do have a YouTube gaming page set up.
Yep.
But they themselves are very beta stage. So
Yeah, they're very beta stage too.
we're evolving with them.
And there's actually two things with there's Shelly's thumb. There's actually two things right now you can do to go check it out. Check Unreal Tournament out on YouTube. You can either go search for Unreal Tournament, and it will bring you to a page, the gaming page that has all people who are playing or streaming or doing anything. And we have that page set up. Or you can then just go to youtube.com/Unreal Tournament, or I'm sorry, YouTube/Unreal Tournament, sorry. And you go there too, and we have a page there. And I'm going to post all these. We just wanted to make sure everything was working okay before we got all the links out there. But we're really excited to have another platform to mess around on, and we'll see how it goes.
I think there's a lot of potential there for that to be something very, very cool. So.
Okay, let's see where we are here. Massacre said, oh, that was from Impure Death. Massacre wants to know, he said, I haven't seen this brought up before. Are there any plans to incorporate the ability to either watch or participate in bracket tournaments within the browser?
I would like to do that at some point. I mean, I think that we're a bit away from really doing that, and we really need help with the with the community and figuring that out. I mean, the first step to doing that is to have clan support, which is something that we hope to have pretty soon. And then, I mean, supporting ladders and tournaments and things like that would be great.
Sure, that's something that we've all talked about. We've talked about from the beginning. It would be great. We did have some people who were working on something, but they, family stuff or whatever.
And that's also part of the longer term vision for Frag Center as well, is a way to kind of surface matches or tournaments or just individual servers that are important to you, so that you can follow people, you can do whatever it is you need to figure out when those tournaments are happening and what's going on, and then connect to them.
And I think there's also the opportunity, I think, to partner with people, in terms of, we have a embedded Chromium browser in the game. So if somebody had built a page for running a tournament that was well integrated with our game, where you basically could click on it and it would launch matches or launch you into the instance or whatever, then that's something we could certainly work with. And I think we'd be interested in trying, at least experimenting. I mean, I think that's the kind of thing that will help us understand what the community really needs. So we would love to experiment with that kind of stuff with you guys.
Yes, absolutely. I remember in the old days, I mean, there used to be so many ladders and leagues that were out there and so much software. I wonder if any of those people are still around.
Yeah.
And if you know any of them.
That's one of the reasons we put an early focus on the spectator tools too, because we want that to be a good experience.
Right.
So you can go in and watch as well as just play.
Okay. Barktooth wants to know.
Nice name.
Why was the horizontal dodging velocity lowered in the latest build? Has Epic considered making dodging faster again to allow more fun close-range combat?
It was
a controversial change.
It was not lowered. I believe.
I thought we did it.
I believe we increased the horizontal velocity and slightly decreased the height at one point, but it has not been lowered.
That was like 2 builds ago, right?
That was 2 builds ago, and we haven't done anything in the most recent.
Well, some of these questions are older, so that's probably.
Even then, I mean, I don't think we. I think the only change we made to dodging was to actually make the horizontal velocity slightly faster.
Well, and some of it was done
it's been a
because
little
of
while.
wall running, right?
We didn't make any changes to dodging because of that.
Basically, we changed the arc of the dodge a little bit, but we basically, in order to get the same distance, we made it a little bit faster because it was lower, right? But it was a tiny percentage
change. It was both were tiny. We're talking about like 1 or 2% faster horizontal and 1 or 2% lower height. So
which actually made the dodging more snappy and responsive, as opposed to less floaty. And so.
Our RPG Wizard, who claims he hasn't been answered. I could have swore I got like every question from this thread, but if I missed it, I am very sorry. Why was default public CTF rule set brought down to 5v5? He doesn't think that 5v5 works well with mixed skill levels. Too few players leads to players' individual skill playing a greater role, and the matches often end up one-sided.
I think that's a very valid point. I mean, we do have the big CTF rule set. I think we're still figuring that all out, and also, I mean, over time, as we introduce our competitive rule sets, then those will have our. I mean, we think 5v5 is going to be our standard competitive set, and so I mean, right now all this stuff is in flux. So you don't look at any change we make like that as being an indicator that we've finalized anything. So yeah, I think it's certainly a good open question for once we have more rule sets that are standard pub match kind of rule set. Might be something different. But I mean, you can still play those easily. Just use the big CTF option as a standard rule set as well.
Okay. He also wants to know what are your thoughts on the current wall run mechanic? Would you consider combining it with the old wall slide downwards momentum condition so people could also slide down walls with it?
I'm not sure.
That sounds like a fun move.
I think that's maybe that question is asking a similar thing to what we talked about the other day. Like instead of having the activation criteria be it has to be at the apex and it can't be past that.
Yeah.
Maybe allowing it to
I'm
be
not sure.
on a lower velocity as well.
Yeah, or here's talking about slide down. So I guess we're certainly not sure that we've finished getting that. I would say to me wall running is pretty effective as a mechanic, but doesn't feel great yet. And so, so whether there's tweaks like that, I mean, and it also might also add some interesting new variety in terms of the actual gameplay. But so we're definitely still thinking about tweaks for when you enter and when you exit it. But there's trade-offs. It's just figuring out, because the thing is that as you change those things, it changes how you interact with as you're jumping off the ground or landing, and so there's trade-offs, and partly it's just more code work to make it to handle those trade-offs better. We definitely plan to spend some more time polishing wall running. I also think that improving. I mean, we still need to tweak the camera. I mean, we've got the tilt, but there's things we can do to both make it feel better, but also not keep you engaged in the game. I don't know. It's definitely still a very alpha kind of movement
I think
right now.
Another part of it is that we're just like that video you sent out today. We're just starting to get a grip on how people are actually using it in the wild.
Yeah.
And that will help us figure out what needs to happen to improve it as well.
Yeah.
Everybody's discovering the possibility space. So
Yeah. People are finally like, oh, I can do these crazy combination of jumps. Yeah.
But the one thing that is really nice, since it's technically gravity based, right? The way the wall run works is that, like you said before, like it has a very clear visual language of on slopes. It works nicer than on flat walls. So that's one thing that some people are now actually starting to play with in some community maps as well, which is awesome. And I'd love to go back to some of the shells if I had time too and start playing with that more.
Yep.
But
people are figuring it out. I think that
and that's also potentially maybe we can allow it on the downward, because if you're going down already, you're still going to be going down on the wall slide too, right? If you activate it while you're going down.
Yep. I think we just I think it's certainly an interesting thing that mechanics we would play with and figure out how it works. We just have to have the time both for us and the community to really explore the space and figure out how it works and doesn't work. So that's why we kind of limit the iteration introduction. We've been focusing on a lot of other stuff the last few weeks as well. So
have we thought about adding any team shuffling to start on public server rule sets? This will allow players to play for longer sessions since frustration is avoided and as the balance is reset on start.
That's a good question. We have not thought about that. We should put that. I guess I think that's something interesting to provide as an option. But on the other hand, at the same time, on pub servers, people who get unknowingly shuffled between teams, you end up with the first couple of minutes of people shooting at the wrong team because they don't realize that they've changed. So.
Well,
and also
other games that we have worked on in the past, which will remain unmentioned, we did it in casual but not in competitive for that very reason.
Yeah, but the thing is that again, in casual, if you're playing with friends, you don't want to be shuffled away from them. I don't think it's something that I think there's valid reasons for why you'd want to support that, but I think we need to be careful about how we implement it and make sure that
you are on red team.
We figure out how to express, give people the best possible game and but let them express what they want. If you want to play on the same team as your friends, we shouldn't force you away because we've arbitrarily decided that everybody gets shuffled. So it's a good question. It's definitely an area we should explore and really think about how to best solve.
All right. And last question from RPG Wizard, who every time I seem to play the game, he is there. He's always playing. Why did you lower the dodge height? What was the reason?
We just talked about it. So it's
we just talked about
it. It's about 2% lower, I think, and just so we could make have the same overall dodge distance, but make the dodge
more
horizontal faster and so make it feel a little more responsive. It's a trade-off. It's a feel thing. I mean, all these changes we're making is the same thing as changing the player camera Z height. It'll feel better for some people and not as good as for some people, and we just keep tweaking, going back and forth until we find what we feel like is the best compromise. And there's always going to be people that prefer it better some other way, but we're just trying to find the global maximum of best overall feel. And so we'll keep tweaking those things. I mean, that's the kind of tweak that's also doesn't have a very big impact on gameplay. I mean, it has a slight impact in that it's a little bit easier to dodge out of trouble since it's a little bit faster, but
yeah, but the percentage is so small.
The percentage is pretty small. So yeah, there we made it, and I think most of the people here, and I think most of the people online would probably think it's a good change, but I know I've definitely seen forum posts where people kind of are expressing the same thing, that they preferred it the way it was. So it's one of those things we'll keep looking at it. I mean, it's also, in terms of the feel of those kinds of movements, it's only one of the things that impacts that feel. And so as we keep polishing the game and iterating on our camera and other things, sound and everything, we'll really keep that in mind. And so we may tweak it more to as those things start coming in line. But having the little bit faster vertical helps with avoidance, and so we felt like that was a good direction to slightly tweak.
All right. Neo Z, this one I can get behind a little bit. Does there exist internally, or would it be possible for us to get a simple UT4 benchmark test loop?
Yes, it's been on our list for a while.
It has been.
It's been on Sidney's list for
my work here is done. The ball is already in somebody else's court.
That's true. Yeah. So the two parts to that, we do want to do one of those. Soon we'll have more mesh levels, so we may decide. But there's two parts. One is having a camera loop through a mesh level, but we also want to have some reproducible gameplay-like stuff going on. We've got some cool code. Tim Ed did with the ghost mode code that Tim Ed did.
Yep.
I think that's a good approach for.
Have we talked about that at all ever before? I don't know. Did we?
Have we not talked about that?
I don't know.
I don't think we have.
Is it not in the? It's not. I guess it's not.
I mean, technically, I think you could probably
so
dig it up.
There's a really cool secret mode that we're not going to tell you about now. No. Well, you want to tell them a little bit about how it works from a.
So I mean, I suppose so. For the tutorial section for the movement part, we wanted the ability to record gameplay and play it back on a pawn.
Yeah.
So Timmy did that.
Yep.
And it exists,
because
but we have not actually had the time to implement those guys yet in the tutorial themselves. So eventually you'd be able to basically just, type in a command or whatever, start doing whatever it is you do, and hit another command, and you'll just, pop back out and see that pawn just perform that exact same moveset.
Yeah, so I think that's a promising, because the problem with using bots or a recorded demo is as the game changes, those things are likely to break. I think this approach is more likely to give us something that's relatively reproducible even through several versions. So we want to make that.
Yeah.
I hope we get to it pretty soon. It's definitely not going to happen before the middle of September, but it is one of the things that's been on our list for a while, and hopefully it'll reach the top of our list soon after.
Yeah, it's something that I want to, so I'll keep up to that one.
I mean, it'll also be really useful for us.
Nice Christmas present.
Also, as we go forward, and we start working more on optimizing for mid and low end machines, it'll be nice to have a benchmark like that so that we can easily get feedback from the community on how the game is performing on their systems in a very reproducible way, feedback on tweaks or changes we suggest to their settings and things like that. And so that's going to become, it's not just a cool tool for you guys, but it's going to become a really important tool for us to figure out how to make the game run as fast as possible on a really wide range of machines.
Okay. Yes, he mentions a lot of things with NVIDIA's GeForce 980 Ti and the new Radeon Fury. I think a benchmark would be a really cool thing to have. Okay, it looks like Frostbite has a question. Ever since the editor was made available for the general public, the numbers of developers that do blueprint-based game modes has been slowly increasing. We do know that the current focus to include a few official game modes is part of the core game. However, it's certain there will be game modes outside of that spectrum that you wish to include, which people want to play with. Will we have means of distributing our blueprint-based game modes through the marketplace system, like DM-Lea, so it's easier for server owners and players to install and access our content without going through overcomplicated procedures?
That certainly, so I guess let me answer it in two parts, is that it's certainly, we recognize it's important for us to provide good mechanisms for people to distribute their content in whatever state of completion it's in. So we're slowly trying to improve that. We've been working, every build we've been trying to improve our support for custom content with hubs. We've got some nice improvements that Matt's added in the upcoming build for redirect support and things like and that kind of support, making that more robust.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely we definitely see it at several levels. We need to do a good job of supporting it, of supporting people sharing it while it's in development, and then also certainly yes, we will we plan to make the marketplace a place where you can get things like game modes when it gets to that point where it's a polished product that people will want. And we're also thinking about other ways of distributing, what we think are really promising works in progress. That's all stuff that we're still figuring out. So I don't want to go into detail because we don't really know the answers yet.
Yeah.
But
we don't want to flood the
recognize
marketplace with unfinished stuff.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that the best,
But we want people to be
the
able
best
to
content
get
gets
it.
bubbles
Yeah.
up to the top. So figuring all of those systems out is
And so so marketplace is kind of one end of the spectrum of some things finished or close to finished and ready for a really wide audience. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that content creators can easily share their works in progress. And so making sure, for example, like I know that's an area that we still haven't polished is really making it easy to support sharing a game type on a dedicated server or on a hub, and making sure that that's a really streamlined process is something that we're still working on. Because that's the way, before it gets to the marketplace, you're going to have tested it with a lot of people and really figure out how to polish it and balance it. So that's all important part of the process.
Looking forward to freeze tag, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, and he wants to know if we can get some RZE hype up in here.
Actually, you have
Maybe
to go
a
like
little
this for
explosion.
I can reach up that high.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say.
it's too high up.
Too tired. There we go. That was some good hype right there. Boom. Boom. To the devs. Oh, this one's going to give Sidney a heart attack. How many estimated official maps will be playable in-game once they are finalized? UT 2004 had 121 official maps.
Well, it depends on how many maps the community builds.
Two maps.
I know. So
Two.
we want to make sure that we have enough
Really
content to support all the different game modes and styles of play. But I think longer term, we want to really rely on the community to produce the volume that we're looking for.
Yeah. But you'll see, but even in terms of Epic, we're a very small team, but as we build these new maps and our mesh sets get more mature, it's going to be easier for us to build up steam and make maps more quickly.
Yep.
But at the same time, we don't want to mesh too many maps until we've really finalized our movement, finalized our weapons. Because those things can have impacts on the level. Like Sidney was just talking about wanting to mess around more with wall running and how that works.
Yeah.
That would be very hard to do on a map that's already been meshed, to go through and make walls.
Right. It's not impossible for sure, but it's more
it's not
work
impossible,
than
but it's just you don't want to
more
have
work than adjusting
50 mesh maps to go
one
and start
brush.
adjusting everything on, and 'cause especially since you want to do it as a test. Oh, let me try to adjust this wall. Oh, that worked or didn't work. And if you're having to, so that's part of it. Also, another thing that we're going to start experimenting more with this fall is new game modes. And these aren't going to be. We're not talking about like vehicles or anything massive, but like kind of experimenting with different ways of coming up with a kind of modern variant of classic UT gameplay. And as we do that, the one possibility is that new game mode will work best with certain kinds of map designs, and so that may inform what kind of things we want to focus on in the future. So we're going to keep. It's not that we're going to stop meshing maps, but we're not going to go full steam into meshing mode while we still have so many questions we're trying to nail down.
Awesome. Any update on the prototype character designs of Lauren, Brock, and Zan? Nope.
We're the wrong people to
no,
look at that.
Yes, nothing as of yet. We've been focusing on the existing teams, filling out the Necros. We show the Necros female, so that's kind of been where a lot of our focus has been. So yeah, nothing yet.
And we're gonna end with 2 questions from Chris UT4. Hello, Chris UT4.
He sent us the shirt, a picture of him in a shirt.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He finally got the shirt.
It only took what, 2 months to get there.
Oh,
sorry about that, Chris. We're glad you finally got it. It came back to us once, so they said we don't know who Chris UT4 is, and they sent it back. So how can they not know? Chris wants to know when are the female characters coming?
Well, there you go. Hopefully, no, she's not public now, right?
Yep. I'm not sure I don't think her materials are final yet, so I don't think we could put her in the build that's about to come out.
Right.
So it'll probably be the build right before the event.
I hope so.
If she was ready, we'd put her out now, but
Yeah.
I think we still have some work to do on her.
Yeah, she doesn't have team shaders and things like that yet. The material is, we were just talking yesterday, it's not set up properly, so it doesn't support all the things we
It's really cool
do.
to see her,
but she does run around in game and all that other fun stuff. I just got her using cosmetic items, so you can switch helmets and all that other fun stuff. So it's getting there, and she will be in very shortly.
Awesome. Very excited for that too, Chris. So, when is the next weapon for UT?
That's a good question. I mean,
Very
and
soon.
actually, it's a good point. I guess the thing with weapons, we still have several weapons that we are not happy with the functionality, so we still have some more work to do on kind of our initial set. I mean, certainly the bio rifle, the minigun alt fire. There's certainly other stuff that we still want to tweak, but those 2 are definitely ones that we still feel like there's significant work to do on. So we're working on those, but we have some ideas for other stuff that we'll start messing around with, and certainly that's an area that we would love to see the community really take the bull by the horns and make some cool new weapons and prove to us that we need them. And actually, it's really easy. If you make a great weapon, you don't have to get us to use it. You just have to get somebody making some of the nice levels to use it, and then it'll show up in the game.
Or
as
even
part of
finishing out the existing weapons. Like you mentioned, bio and Stinger. We're still using UT3 models, so we could use
Impact Hammer also.
Yeah, I mean we could use the flak, the enforcer, the sniper. Those all were designs that came from the community. We've got Rocket going in now, Link going in now.
Though to be fair, it would be most exciting to actually see somebody come up with a new weapon design entirely that is actually matches with the game somehow.
It's been cool seeing some of the
obviously hard as hell, but who knows, right?
I think the hardest part is getting it past the community.
Yeah.
Have a new weapon. No.
Yes. Here we go.
Okay, I don't know whether I should blame Alex or Chance here, but I just went to the Unreal Engine forums to find out what they're going to be doing their stream tomorrow, and there's nothing. Thanks a lot, Chance.
I blame your crashed computer.
It's going to be really, really interesting. You should not miss it.
And
I promise Chance will dance for you.
Oh, yes.
I think he was afraid the forums would melt if we actually told about the amazing stuff that we're going to be discussing in tomorrow's event.
There will absolutely be plaid, and quite possibly a hat.
Plaid hype.
Plaid hype. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Make sure you come play with us this Friday. Make sure you go sign up for the contest and win so you can come see us for the event. Make sure you watch next week. We've got some really cool, exciting stuff coming. We want to start building up some hype, getting some people
RZE
watching.
hype.
RZE hype.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more content, a lot more to talk about with what's in the coming in the build. So definitely tune in next week.
Yep. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.